Welcome back, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. We're here again to talk Week 3 review. It's been a crazy Week 3. Very exciting compared to at least the past couple of weeks. Very high scoring, a lot of great finishes. But yeah, we'll get into all of that today. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here by Brett Hamilton.
Hello.
And we'll just jump right on into the news. We'll go through the news. Again, we'll bring you our standouts, our flops, stock ups, and waiver wire ads for the week. So we'll get a lot of good information in this show. Hopefully to prepare you for the week ahead.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah! All right, jumping into the news. Darren Sproles tears ACL and has broken arm, out for the season.
Play.
Everyone thought the
That
crazy
was disgusting.
Well, the crazy thing is no one, when he first initially went down, it was like, okay, yeah, it's a knee injury. It's clearly a knee injury. But then he's fine walking off the field, and he's grasping his wrist.
Right.
And then they say it's just a wrist injury. Yeah. And then finally, the next day, comes out, he has an ACL tear as well. So, yeah, tough break for the Eagles there.
Unfortunately, that's probably the last we're going to see of him.
God, I hope not.
He was already talking about retiring at the end of the year, and, I mean, at that age and everything.
Yeah. Andrew Luck could practice this week. Obviously, the shoulder injury has been keeping him out for the entire offseason and through the first 3 games of the regular season. He's definitely not starting week 4. No. He's already out, or already listed as out. But
I'd expect to see him back on the field week 6. That's what I'm saying.
That's the target for the
I think that's reasonable.
Return. Yeah. I guess I don't really know what they're going to have him doing in practice this week. If he does return, maybe some light stuff, maybe some throwing. I don't know if they're going to put him into the throwing motions right now. But something to monitor. It would be real nice to get Andrew Luck back sooner rather than later.
I'm so tired of streaming QBs every week.
Melvin Gordon dealing with bone bruise in his knee. They say it's minor, but
I don't know.
It's just
it was a little iffy to me.
Yeah, again, something to monitor. I know JHI is kind of. I don't think it's a bone bruise with him, but something knee related. And a bunch of these running backs and their knees are looking like some old men right now. So just something to monitor. Sam Bradford uncertain for week 4. I think I think they already listed him as doubtful. So don't expect much expect Sam Bradford to start this week. Obviously, Case Keenum did perfectly fine last week, surprisingly, in that game. But aside from that, good news out of the Vikings reports. Teddy Bridgewater could be ready to play week 7. So obviously, we've been without Teddy for a little over a season's worth now. So Teddy Bridgewater coming back, do you see him actually being thrown into the mix right away when he comes back, if he can come back week 7?
I think they do. I think it all depends on Sam Bradford, what he can do when he can start. I think he did so well the first game of the season that it would be a disservice to just kind of write him off and say that's obviously Teddy's job, because I don't think it obviously is. But I think that going forward, I think we will see him get thrown in. I just don't know how well he's going to play or how well he's going to kind of mesh with that offense he's missed so much.
Yeah, but the Vikings absolutely adore Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, he's their guy.
That's why I think he's
the quarterback of the future, and obviously Sam Bradford's dealing with the knee stuff right now. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how fast they'll rush Teddy back if they do rush him back at all. But I do expect Teddy to play this year at some point and start.
Yeah, I think so.
And the Vikings
that's their quarterback.
Yeah, and the Vikings are looking they're looking pretty dangerous right now. So
yeah, I know. One bit of news I want to add in there. I want to give a shout out to Joe Thomas, the center for the Browns.
Left tackle.
I thought he was center. No, he started at center, didn't he?
What?
I'm pretty sure he started at center.
No, he didn't.
I'm going to look it up because I'm pretty sure what I looked at said center.
There's no way. J.C. Tretter's their center.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, anyways.
Joe Thomas has played 10,062 consecutive snaps of football.
That's unbelievable.
A lineman. Think about how many times you see linemen run in and out of the field. I mean, They get tired. They get their feet stomped on. They roll their ankles, anything. He's played through a grade 2 LCL tear, 3 MCL strains, 2 high ankle sprains, and never left the field. 162 games, a decade, since 2007. It's just insane.
He's the Brett Favre of linemen.
He really is. I mean, that is such an impressive streak that I just can't stress that enough. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again for a lineman. That's just insane.
No. That's unheard of, especially in the injury plagued game that we live in today. All right, moving on. We're going to start with our Week 3 standouts. These are the guys that really went above and beyond this week. They may not necessarily be the top scorers at each position, but they're the guys that stood out or shocked us or proved something going forward. So, Week 3 standouts. At the QB position, who are we starting it off with, Brett?
Russell Wilson, bounce back performance. I mean, a lot of people were down on the Seahawks offense, the whole offensive line coming into this year. It's just typical Russell Wilson. He starts off slow. It just seems like the Seahawks always get off to that slow start, but then just come on strong after that. 29 completions for 373 yards and 4 touchdowns. Still came away with the L, but that was an impressive performance from Russell.
Yeah, definitely. My guy, my standout of the week at QB, Aaron Rodgers. I know it's been a kind of a slow start to the season for him. Obviously, he's got a pick in each game so far this season. But you just got to look at what's around him and see what he's doing on the field. He's got 300-plus yards in every game so far this season, which is a bit unheard of for Aaron Rodgers. He's usually kind of low when it comes to yardage, high with touchdowns. It's the efficiency that gets the job done for Rodgers. 3 touchdowns this past week. And again, that's with his offensive line in shambles. He doesn't have his left tackle or right tackle.
Does he have any starters?
Really, honestly, I believe, Lane Taylor went out in this game for a few plays as well. So he was dealing with a line literally that had no starters from last year at one point in that game. And he was still able to mount a comeback like that. And again, no Randall Cobb. He's missing all these pieces, and he's still able to do this. So if I know David Bakhtiari, the left tackle, he started to practice again this week. Randall Cobb's back to fully participating in practice. When he gets all these pieces back and healthy, I mean, it's back to what Aaron Rodgers can do all the time, and that's just dominate the NFL.
Is Randall Cobb going to play this week?
It's looking like it. He practiced in full today, so signs are looking good there. Moving on to running backs, our Week 3 standouts at running back. My guy at the running back position, Chris Thompson. 24 points this week.
Just impressive.
Yeah, obviously he's had double-digit points, I believe, each week this year thus far. I think he's third or fourth running back in fantasy. I mean, I don't expect that to stay.
No, that's not sustainable.
No, but he is sustaining relevance in fantasy, especially with in PPR when he's getting the passes and things like that.
Really, really jacking his points up. He almost had another touchdown on that. He had a really long. I think it was like a 70. I know it wasn't 70 yard. Maybe like a 40-yard run. He just wasn't fast enough. But
I mean, the big playability is huge there, and the Redskins are in desperate need of big plays right now. Obviously, with not many or some players being injured and Terrell Pryor not doing anything at all.
Yeah, I've got Jordan Howard. A lot of people were, including myself, did not think that Jordan Howard was going to be very effective in this coming game. You know, he's been injured. We've seen a lot of good things from Tariq Cohen. And I still like Tariq Cohen going forward, just because.
He had a good game this week too.
Yeah, he did. It was just the headlines were about Jordan Howard because he had 2 touchdowns and 138 yards against the Steelers, which no one expected the Bears to play that well against the Steelers, but the Steelers were away, and I think that was the key.
Yeah, and also Jordan Howard, honestly, we might not even be having him on this list if it wasn't for that overtime touchdown that sealed it. Because Tariq Cohen got robbed on his
Oh, that was so painful.
Crazy good run.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
and
but
then he got robbed.
Yeah, if Tariq Cohen would have scored on that play, then Jordan, we'd honestly probably still be going towards the narrative of Tariq Cohen. Yeah, he's the guy, or he's the playmaker in this backfield. But it is a good sign to see Jordan Howard doing what he did last week.
Right.
Another name to mention, Todd Gurley, 32 points.
Oh yeah.
He's tied right now with Kareem Hunt with 6 touchdowns on the year. But we've seen this, obviously, Todd Gurley coming in doing phenomenal. 3 back-to-back high-scoring games. Granted, they were against some pretty weak opponents.
He had favorable matchups, and that is not going to continue going forward.
Yeah, so definitely temper expectations going forward with a tough upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more in our following episode, where we preview the Week 4 matchups and beyond.
He did have the opportunity to score 5 touchdowns. There's 2 times they were inside the 10 that they passed it instead and got a touchdown that way.
Yeah.
But he had the opportunity for 5 touchdowns. He was on the field. It was just nuts.
But again, temper expectations. As much
that
as
game was an anomaly.
Yeah, as much as I like to say that Todd Gurley is back, still the matchups are they're going to get harder, and I don't expect the touches to be quite as high. Moving on into wide receivers, who is a wide receiver standout for you, Brett?
T.Y. Hilton with Jacoby Brissett. This isn't T.Y. Hilton with Andrew Luck. He was able to get it done without his star quarterback. 7 for 153 yards and 1 touchdown. Impressive day for T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going with Brandon Cooks. 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like we said, he's a boom-bust kind of guy. First 2 weeks did pretty much nothing. This week comes out, and I think he's second or third highest scorer amongst wide receivers.
Yep.
Now,
that's going to be the narrative.
Yeah, and I think this next week they got the Panthers. Easily on. I mean, you're playing Brandon Cooks regardless. But
some days you're going to be really sad, and other weeks you're going to be winning the league.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, he's going to win you some games, and he's going to lose you some games. It's just you have to roll him out there. He's a boom bust kind of player. But I just want to go back to everyone. I know I've been taking a lot of heat for saying that he's going to be the bust of the year. It's not so much that he's a bust. It's just a bust at where he's being drafted.
It's based on expectation.
Yeah, and the fact that he was being drafted in the second round is not ideal for the fact that that's basically a top 10 receiver,
right?
And that's
you want consistency out of a top 10 wide receiver, not a boomer bust play.
Yeah, he's not gonna give top 10 numbers most weeks. Another wide receiver I got listed as a standout, Stephon Diggs. Blew up this week. We saw what he did week 1. Similar type of situation. Then week 2 kind of fell off, and then this week went off again. Mm-hmm. Now, and the fact that he was able to do that with Case Keenum as his quarterback really says something. I do want to say the Buccaneers defense was absolutely riddled with injuries.
Yeah, they got demolished.
Literally,
I mean, their players were just they were just limping off the field, all of them.
Yeah, and I could. I mean, you can go down the list. Just honestly, the top 8 guys on that defense were just gone half the game.
Anytime you lose Gerald McCoy, Quan Alexander, and Levante David, you're going to be hurting, and that's not even touching on the cornerbacks.
Yeah, that's not even half the guys that went down.
Nope.
But yeah, Stephon Diggs, very, very impressive. I do believe that hopefully we saw this last year. Stephon Diggs blew up at the very beginning of the season, and then we didn't hear from him again.
Yep.
But this year, I think it is a little bit different. The team is better. Too. The line's better. They have a running back now.
Yeah, their defense is still strong.
Yeah, and obviously they're doing this with random or different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And again, maybe Teddy Bridgewater comes back.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be a 3 QB year for the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know if Teddy would hurt or help Stephon. He's got a little bit of a different game than the rest of the guys, but we'll see how it goes. So, did you have one more receiver?
I did. I want to mention Sammy Watkins in that slugfest versus the 49ers. He came away with 2 touchdowns, 6 for 106 yards. A lot of people were, we still haven't seen a whole lot from him. I know a lot of people had him on their bench, and I don't blame you. He wasn't consistent enough to start going into this week, but he showed that he can play football. And Jared Goff, I think, is figuring that out. And he's wondering why he hasn't been targeting his best wide receiver on that team more often. And so I think going forward, it really helps. It helps Sammy Watkins owners.
Yeah, definitely good to see Sammy back in the mix. Now, tight end standout, I'm going with Zach Ertz. I think we both had Zach Ertz because tight ends are just brutal right now.
Well, there's only 2 right now.
Ertz, 3 straight games with 9 fantasy points. Very, very consistent. And you give me 9 points at the tight end position every week.
I will take that.
I will take that
all year.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. And obviously the other guy, Gronk, I wouldn't put him as a standout just because this is just what he does. If he's out there, he's going to do
It's not really a standout performance because he does it every week.
Yeah, he's going to do that. And obviously, Mercedes Lewis was the top guy this week. 3 touchdowns. Do not expect that at all. Just
don't chase points at tight ends. It doesn't work.
Yeah, just go with your guys at the tight end position.
I would like to say a welcome back to Vernon Davis. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he had a couple of just really good moves downfield. I was like, man, he looks like he's 24 again.
He just needs the dreads back, and he's good to go. But Jordan Reed obviously hobbled. As always.
But if you did have Jordan Reed, I think Vernon Davis is a perfectly good filler until or if Jordan Reed gets back.
Yeah, not bad at all. But just want to point out how bad tight ends have been right now. 6 of the top 10 tight ends are less than 0.1% owned in NFL.com leagues.
That's awful.
Come on now. That's just craziness. Mm-hmm. And you just got to roll with a few guys, and one week they might do you good, other weeks they may not. You just kind of have to live with it.
Yep.
But good to see consistency out of at least Ertz and Gronk.
Yep.
All right, moving on into the Week 3 flops. These are the guys that disappointed.
Got some floppers.
Yeah, had high expectations and just pooped the bed, basically.
Yep.
So QB position, who you got, Brett?
I've got Cam Newton. I think this was the game that Cam Newton should have done really well in against that Saints defense. At home, there's no reason they should have played. The whole offense should have played like they did. But I mean, 167 yards, 0 interception, or 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just an abysmal performance. And until they let him run, which they're not going to, I don't think he has any fantasy value.
Yeah, but he did get that 1 rushing touchdown, which bailed him out because
that's true.
If he didn't get that, he'd be looking at 2-point fantasy day.
Yeah,
and
that was his first rushing touchdown in a long time.
Yeah, honestly, I think that 1 touchdown that bailed him out, it kind of shields people from saying, "Hey, I'm going to drop this guy," but I'm pretty much done with Cam at this point, and I think he's borderline droppable. I'm going with Trevor Siemian as my flop of the week. Obviously, last week, I don't know if we had him as our start or one of our starts of the week, but we definitely
can't remember.
We were liking him going up against the Bills. But
I did. I was kind of bad. His first away game, we should have. In hindsight, it's 2020, but he just didn't play that very. He didn't play that very well. No touchdowns.
Yeah, only 7 points from Trevor Siemian in that game. Disappointing loss to the Bills. Running back position flops. I'm going Ty Montgomery. Only 5 points in this game. The game script was fine. It never really got crazy out of hand. I don't know. Ty just never really got anything going. It seemed every time he touched the ball, the Bengals backers were on him immediately.
I think the Bengals has a pretty tough defense for against running backs.
They got a pretty good front seven going on. But only 8 receptions, or he had 8 receptions, that's good. In PPR, obviously these numbers are. He'd had a much better day, but 8 receptions, only 15 yards.
Yeah,
that is abysmal.
That is inefficient.
Not good at all there. Definitely not a good week for Ty Montgomery, but I think he'll be fine moving forward.
Yeah, my one of my running back flops of the week was Jay Ajayi. Man, was this disappointing. That whole team was disappointing.
Jay Ajayi.
That whole team, I mean, it was such a good matchup for them. They were playing the Jets. Jay Ajayi had 16 yards on 11 rushes. Why? Why, Jay?
Why, Jay? I'm talking to you, Jay.
I'm talking to you. No, but in all seriousness, he was a little bit banged up after the game, but I think he's going to be fine going forward. I just don't know. I just don't know about that game.
Yeah, just a rough showing from the Dolphins.
One of those anomalies this week.
Yeah, rough showing from the Dolphins this week. Got to mention Isaiah Crowell, only 5 points in this game. He's been disappointing pretty much all year, and
I'm sounding the alarm on him too. Man.
Yeah, again disappointing against the ailing Colts team.
This was I kind of put him in the same category as I put Cam going into this week. As you haven't showed anything in the first two games. This is your time to shine. Both had great matchups. Both incredibly underperformed.
Yeah. Moving on to wide receivers, my flop at wide receiver, Des Bryant. Only 7 points. People look and see that touchdown.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, touchdown was fantastic, but I think he only had 2 catches in this game. Bailed out. That touchdown bailed him out. Obviously, it was a great touchdown. But he just can't get anything done between the 20s. He's a red zone monster, but you kind of have to, I don't know, temper expectations when it comes to Dez, because if I really don't like having players that are touchdown dependent, especially this much. This is like an extreme case. Only 7 points. Obviously, a touchdown's worth 6, so he's not getting much yardage. And again, going up against Patrick Peterson, he can't get it done against these top corners.
And he's got matchups like that the rest of the season. So.
Yeah, it only gets worse and worse for Dez moving forward. Who do you got as your flop of the week at wide receiver?
I've got Terrell Pryor, just not working out so far. I think we may have underestimated the amount of skill it takes to actually change positions like that, and he's dropping passes. He just doesn't look like a wide receiver right now.
And everyone looks at that Brown season from last year and they're like, "Oh, Terrell Pryor looked fantastic." And I'm like, I don't think you realize how many times or how many targets and touches that this guy got. And again, he was playing quarterback some games in Cleveland. He was getting some jet sweeps and stuff like that. Yeah. They're not doing that with the Redskins. He's just straight up a wide receiver. Yep. He is basically what like A.J. Green is. They want him to be like A.J. Green, and that's not what he can do. Yeah. I do want to say Redskins did look good this week, and obviously Terrell Pryor looked like crap. Yeah. But Josh Doxson, I think if I was gonna pick a Redskin receiver going forward, I think I'd go Doxson over Terrell Pryor at this point. I do not. I said at the beginning of the year, I do not like Terrell Pryor. I think he's going to be, I thought he was going to be a bust. It's not looking good for him.
What about Jamison Crowder?
I like Crowder in the fact that he's more the possession guy. He's the quick, short slot receiver.
Yeah. He had 6 receptions this week for 56 yards, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, they're definitely getting him more involved, but I don't know. They still seem like they want to be.
Yeah, going forward, I think Doxson's the pick.
Yeah, I really like, and I've been waiting for this for a while. Doxson's extremely talented, and he's been injured.
He just hasn't. He's been injured and just hasn't gotten the opportunity to show it. I think this may be his time to shine.
Yeah. And last bit of flops for the week at wide receiver, it'd be a shame not to mention these guys. Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper combined for 2 catches, only 2 catches in this game. If any of you haven't seen Josh Norman go or his locker room rant going off on Crabtree and Cooper after the game, you need to watch it. Yeah. But the Redskins shut them down. Norman had a great game. Absolutely nothing for Crabtree and Cooper this week.
Well, the whole Raiders offense just kind of did not do well.
Bland. Derek Carr looked bad as well. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our stock ups and stock downs. These are the guys that stock ups, obviously. Guys we are rising on, guys you need to target in your leagues, on your waivers possibly, in trades. And obviously the stock downs are the guys we're pretty much saying we're all but done with. It's time to drop these guys potentially, or at least sell them, or if you can.
Yeah. All
right, so stock up. Who we got as a stock up, Brett?
I'm going to go Duke Johnson.
The Duke.
I know I've been a little bit high on Duke this year, but man, he just shows so much skill, and every game they just continue to show me that they want to use Duke Johnson in a good role. And he's getting the targets this week. He went 6 for 81. I mean, he looked great. I mean, he's making athletic catches. He's fundamentally, he looks good. I like Duke Johnson going forward. I think they're just going to continue to expand upon his utilization.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's I won't say exactly like the Bears situation with Jordan Howard being compared to Crowell and Tariq being compared to Duke Johnson. But
I can see similarities there.
Yeah, but Duke Johnson, just like Tariq Cohen, they are the big play guys. They are dynamic. They can catch the ball out of the backfield, and that's really what those struggling teams like the Bears and the Browns need. They need those guys who can make explosive plays.
He should definitely be owned in PPR leagues.
Oh yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Stock up for me, Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I like that.
Finally, they're moving towards him being the guy. 21 touches in this game. Not the best production out of Mixon.
No.
I think he only caught 3 balls. They still used Gio quite a bit. Jeremy Hill, I hardly saw him at all out there.
Yeah, unless on the goal line, he might steal some goal line carries.
Yeah, but Joe Mixon, he's looking like the guy moving forward, and it might have been this might have been the last week to buy low on Joe Mixon.
I think there's a lot of hype behind him now.
Yeah. I mean, if you could still buy low or get something or give something kind of low away for Joe Mixon, definitely try to do that. Yeah. But the clock is ticking towards Joe Mixon breaking out very, very soon.
Yeah.
Who else you got as a stock up, Brett?
I have Joe Mixon as well. But I'll go ahead and go to our stock downs. Mine, and this is not someone I was super high on to begin with, but Adrian Peterson, he's droppable. He is officially droppable. I mean, he got 33 yards. That's about his maximum he's going to get for the rest of the season in each game. The Saints aren't going to use him. They don't know how to use him. He's just not looking that wonderful, and it's sad because I think Adrian Peterson is one of the most fun running backs to watch, but he is sadly going to be dropped.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's more Mark Ingram's role to begin with, and
Alvin Kamara though.
Yeah, I was about to mention Alvin Kamara. They are really, really loving this guy, and he is dynamic. He's a pass catcher. Yeah. And Adrian Peterson, again, he's not even getting goal line right now, so it's not even...
He's getting nothing.
Yeah, I really don't even see him getting more than maybe 2 touchdowns this year.
No.
Stock down for me, I'll mention 2 because we mentioned them earlier. Terrell Pryor and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Borderline droppable at this point. If you can sell them, obviously the names alone can give you some value, but I'm just about done, especially starting him. I'm not starting either of these guys moving forward.
Neither one of them, no. I think I'm done with Cam Newton. I mean, I just think that if you take away his legs, he has no fantasy value. And that's pretty much the conclusion that he's proved these first 3 weeks.
Yep. All right, we're going to jump into our waiver wire ads, and then we'll close out the show. Brett, just go through, give me, I don't know, top 3, 4, 5 waiver wire ads you got going into this week.
This is kind of a late one, but he's still only 40% owned. Marquise Lee. I really like him on the Jags. I think he's going to be the guy going forward. It's kind of a toss-up between him and Allen Hurns at this point, but I think he has the better upside potential. Wendell Smallwood, I think he deserves a mention because of the Darren Sproles injury. And this isn't I don't know how heavily he's going to be targeted on the waiver wire. But I think Deontay Foreman is going to be a guy you could stash almost as a handcuff, but I just think his role is expanding each week.
Yeah, he's looked impressive.
Yeah, I think they're easing Lamar Miller out of those RB1 type touches. Obviously, they're still going to stick with Lamar Miller, but I think Lamar Miller is going to see better efficiency when he does get the ball if he's not in every single play like he has been. So I think Deontay Foreman is a guy that you keep your eye on.
Yeah, I'm just going to rattle off a few names. These are guys that are all owned in less than 50% of leagues right now. So they are out there in most leagues. Chris Thompson's still out there. Obviously, number 3 running back in fantasy right now. Chris Carson finally getting that role in Seattle. He's still out there. Jamal Charles looking like his role is expanding more and more each week.
Yeah.
In Denver, again, Wendell Smallwood. I think that's going to be a great situation with Darren Sproles out. Andre Ellington, and I guess you could say Chris Johnson. I like Ellington more right now.
Me too, especially in PPR.
Yeah, I know Chris Johnson has been labeled the starter, but Andre Ellington has looked really, really good or at least last week. I'm just going to rattle off a few more names at the running back position. Orleans Darkwa, Jalen Richard still out there looking for handcuffs possibly. Receivers, we got Sterling Shepard, Robbie Anderson, Geronimo Allison showed what he could do last week. I know Randall Cobb might be back, but definitely a guy Geronimo Aaron seems to love him.
Yeah.
So definitely got to look at. And Willie Snead will be back from suspension this week. Obviously, they've been producing with some other receivers without Willie Snead. So, I don't know. Temper expectations there, but Willie Snead definitely a target. He is available in most leagues. All right, so that's our show for today. This will be our, obviously, Wednesday show. And, again, we've had a few questions regarding our scheduling and our timeline of how things are done. So I'm just going to lay it out plain and simple right now. This Wednesday show, we record it on Tuesday, and then we release it on Wednesday. Our Thursday show, we record also on Tuesday, and again, we release it on Thursday. And then our Friday show, which is our bonus show, our League of Records show, we usually record that either Wednesday night or Thursday night, but that will be released on Friday. So, yeah, we got we record 2 times. We record on Tuesday nights, and we record on either Wednesday or Thursday. And then we release Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I know when the news and things break like that, and the timing seems off, that's why that occurs. So, yeah, that's our show for today. Follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Again, if you do want that up-to-date news, definitely go follow us on Twitter. Like I said, at the423football. That's where you get the most up-to-date news. Tweeting over there all the time. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments and reviews. Thank you for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace.